Urbanization in Southeast Asia.
Urbanization began with the attraction of people to cities, which was mainly sparked by the Industrial Revolution, which originally began in Europe and diffused to East Asia during European colonialism. Honghe River and Wei valleys of present-day China were one of the 6 hearths of industrialization, which dated back to 1500.
The urban elite in China planned their ancient cities to center on a vertical structure in the middle of the city and then built an inner wall around it. The urban elite demonstrated power by building elaborate structures which now contribute to the cultural landscape of Asian cities. Around 200 BCE, Emperor Qin Shi Huang directed the building of the Great Wall of China to spark urbanization that diffused throughout East Asia.
Urbanization and the emergence of urban agglomeration are inevitable consequences of industrial and economic development in any country, and it is a challenge for all to plan, manage, and develop various remedies for social, environmental, and economic problems of industrialization. Urbanization increases the consumption of food, energy, water, and land. One of the worst consequences of industrialization is pollution. This is especially problematic in less developed countries, which may not have adequate regulations on what types of pollution is created. Air pollution is one of the major problems of urbanization. The air quality difference between rural areas and urban areas is significant. This is primarily due to factories and automobiles which produce carbon monoxide, which is very bad for people and the environment. Pollution has also led to climate change, which then leads to global warming, which can lead to flooding and other harsh weather conditions around the world. Urbanization has also led to overpopulation and housing shortages. Urbanization in China has led to the destruction of cheap but overcrowded residential areas. This cheaper housing is being replaced with more expensive apartments, making housing less affordable and resulting in less living space for migrants coming over. The other consequences of urbanization include loss of biodiversity, urban sprawl, social issues, and many other economic and environmental problems.
China has the largest urban growth rates in the world. China's urban population has increased over 140% in the past 10 years, and about 61% of the country's population lives in urban areas. In the past few years, China's economy has had a major boom, and many of its towns and villages are transforming into urban centers, which includes 6 of the world's megacities and megapolises. Along with that, China's population is rapidly changing. This has been a major problem in urbanization in China. In the past 30 years, 60 million people have migrated from rural to urban areas. Most of the migration is internal migration that follows Ravenstein's third migration law that says migrants tend to choose big city destinations when they move. People are wanting to move to more populated urban areas for more economic opportunities and development. Most of Southeast Asian cities are experiencing major growth and development. Although their urban cities are growing, their economies are still mostly in the industrial stages that Rostow's modernization model states in the drive to maturity stage. For example, like in China, their special economic zones, SEZs, which are located on the coasts and are designated areas that have different trade laws than the rest of the country and control trade with other countries. These SEZs and other export processing zones in other countries cause lots of pollution. China has made a plan to shift their economic focus to more service industries and move to domestic consumption and GDP to help the problem.
Early industrial production in Japan was increasingly concentrated in core areas, mainly in Keihin and Hansen industrial regions in the 1960s. Japan is facing rapid urban development in relation to its economic development and the population density in the industry and towns. Japanese cities developed from modern factories equipped with new technologies and are built by new infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and ports. Japan has tried to fix the urban problem by creating the Integrated Spatial Development Plan in 1962. This plan addresses concentration and spatial disparity in Japanese cities and has made rapid progress in the suburbs of large towns, leading to urban sprawl.
Since the establishment of South Korea in 1948, it has experienced rapid urbanization. Before, during, and after the Korean War in 1950 to 1953, and industrialization in 1961 when the military took over, the urban landscape grew. With the rapid economic growth and development, many problems have arose, such as increasing problems in urban infrastructure, Unemployment and underemployment, which go hand in hand, is very common in Korean cities because of overpopulation. To fix this problem, in 1982, the South Korean government enacted decentralization policies and a nationwide growth management policy, which is an attempt to minimize problems in their cities.
Continuing to develop and urbanize sustainability is a major challenge for Southeast Asian countries. In order to confront this challenge in 25 quickly growing cities, the ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, has created an initiative in environmentally sustainable cities, ESCs. These cities prioritize in low-carbon technologies and encourage other cities to strive for a carbon-neutral economy. These cities promote responsible use of natural resources and waste-to-energy initiatives. Another way countries are fixing the issue of urbanization is the Clean Air for Smaller Cities project, which was first implemented in 2009. This project has been implemented in 12 cities in Southeast Asian countries. Today, over half the world's population lives in urban areas, and that number is expected to continue to increase. The United Nations predicts that in 2050, 2/3 of the world's population will live in cities. About 90% of the increase in urban population through 2050 is expected to come from Asia and Africa. It is also predicted that by 2030, Southeast Asia's urban population will grow by another 100 million people, rising from 280 million people today to 373 million people. Many urban areas are not sustainable and will eventually suffer decline. This urban decay may result in deindustrialization, depopulation, abandoned buildings, unemployment, and other social and economic issues in the future.
One way overall to stop issues that urbanization creates is to preserve land. These are called urban growth boundaries, which is a boundary set by cities that protect agricultural land and wildlife from getting destroyed by cities. An example of an urban growth boundary which began in European cities is the Greenbelt. Another plan is to revitalize developed areas, attract new businesses, improve existing schools, and reduce crime. Cities should make sure that populations have access to essential social services such as education, health, sanitation, clean water, technology, and food. This will create employment opportunities and a chance for urban dwellers to make a good living while living in a sustainable place. Lastly, government should pass laws that create environmentally friendly cities, so residents don't live in an unclean, unsafe area. Countries should build sustainable cities that embrace improved environmental conditions and safe habitats for all urban populations. Government should also encourage sustainable use of resources and support an economy based on sustainable environment, such as investing in green infrastructure, sustainable industries, recycling, pollution management, and renewable energy.
Overall, urbanization causes many issues throughout the world, but it is possible to stop it if we work together.
So don't forget to always go green.